Good to see you.
Alright, Revenants, welcome back to Code Vein. You wouldn't know it, but this past week I was pretty sick, and it's really, really good to be back here in Vein. So I'll be clearing my throat a little bit and drinking some more water than normal. And as we make our way into 31 stars here, we will be investigating all of the one-handed swords that we have access to in the game. And as you see, we have quite a few to go through here, and even more than what I even have. So hopefully we have enough tungsten to get us through, and as we have hopefully enough chromes here to get us everything that we'll be needing for one-handed swords as we go through. So this will be a non kind of dark or light kind of gifting with limited exceptions here and there, but we will be investigating each of the swords in their own right, and kind of what the one-handed swords in what scenarios you would use them, and kind of we'll just kind of go through them one by one straightforward. We may do a second playthrough of one-handed swords just to finish up anything that we missed in this playthrough, but that's what we'll be running now. So let's go ahead and get into it here. The first one up on deck here will be the Black Sabre, and this is a one-handed sword that is a very, 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 very heavy weapon, while at the same time it has one thing going for it, and it is an exceptionally high strength value and strength scaling. It has a very, very high damage value from scaling, so if you pick this weapon up in your first playthrough and the base damage is the only thing that you're really going off of, and you haven't leveled up too much, let's say you finish your first playthrough at like level 100, or like what I did earlier at level 1, scaling value will be kind of non-existent, so the Black Saber doesn't really become useful until way, way, way later in the game, when you are, level 300, and you've gotten everything up to its maximum, so that way you can go ahead and get as much as you can out of that scaling value here on this blade, specifically this blade. Now we're going to be paired up here with Cert because it has a base mobility of quick, and with Revenant's ambition we get ourselves up to a weight limit of 76.7. And then as you see, we are at exactly 76 weight, 76 pounds or kilos or whatever we are, stones, who knows, but we are directly under that quick mobility threshold, so we are able to have this gigantic heavy weapon at a quick mobility, and it has a very, very slow slashing pattern. This is as fast as it can slash away. Okay, and let's, I do personally enjoy the regular heavy attack. It's a double slash, so you can do this and then follow up with the double heavy slash, and it's pretty nice, pretty useful. And the charge attack of it is a blood slash that costs 2 ichor. And it's kind of like a projectile that you shoot out in front of you with the blade. Not too useful, not too exceptional, but it can be used. So we are going to attempt here to get it accelerated through 3 gift accelerators here, while at the same time having really, really good drain rating on the weapon itself, because this is one of the weapons. The other 2 are the machete and the broadsword. They all have very, very good drain rating for one-handed swords, one-handed weapons. Excuse me. And this is the highest you can get on a one-handed weapon, a one-handed sword, 0.56 at a base with a Devour Chrome on it. And if we go ahead and get paired up here with both Mia and ourselves, and then we'll use a drain activator. We get up extremely high here at a 1.98, and now times 1.8, so you're getting about 4 ichor back on a return every time you strike an enemy, which is just almost enough to continuous use of Shadow Assault here. So that's kind of what we're going to be going for. And then we have our weapon buffs here, as those are just basic stat modifiers for our blade. Okay, now it looks like I've run through here, but as you'll see, these are leftover dots from the previous playthrough. For whatever reason, if you run this area and then directly start a new game and then run this area again, the dots are left over and it thinks that you were here before, but I was not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get ourselves going here, and we'll go for a blood cartridge. Why not? And you'll see here that we get insane amount of ichor back on a strike there. So we'll go for a little bit more damage here. Oops, and that was the light running attack. You do a jump slash, kind of like a change in elevation attack there, but not a big deal. Okay, and we can come around to this guy. So as you see, this first beginning area of the game here just completely gets annihilated by this. So we can kill this fella, and then we can kill this guy. So the Black Sabre is, you know, kind of one of those weapons you don't see too often being used because it has an exceptionally slow startup and execution time in between the strikes. And that can cause a lot of issues simply because of the fact that you're constantly trying to damage the enemy in between and such. But as you can see here, if you are accelerating it, you can definitely put out the hurt on the enemy there. I messed up my buttons there a little bit. Okay, so there's Bardiche, and so you can see here that this gate is closed, so we haven't been here before. This gate would be opened according to the map, but as this area has mainly slashing enemies, we have very, very, very high slash resistance on our blood veil, so let's go ahead and heal up here. But anytime we pair up with offensive order, it basically takes our defenses down to almost zero, so we need to definitely keep an eye on that for sure. Okay, and we get 6 ichor on a backstab here, so that's not too much. We actually get more ichor from slashing the enemy. So there you can see takes about 4 slashes to kill one of the slimes. Now if we go pair up with blood here, there we go, there's our coin for Jack later on, and we'll get 1, 2, 3. So it saves us an extra slash, and especially since this is a severely slow weapon, we need to take the enemy out very, very quickly and easily each time we engage them. But since we have extremely high ichor recovery, with at the same time we have a very quick dash ability here. We have the ability to kind of dodge in, dodge out, and go for all the damage that we need to on the enemy. So there we go. And we can hit this guy in the face for 6,000 damage, so that's pretty good damage. And offensive order and overdrive also help us with our backstab damage. Okay, let's go ahead and drink some water. Alright, so they help both Shadow Assault, while at the same time it helps our backstabs, while at the same time it helps our regular slashes. So as you see here, we can just run up and get almost 7 ichor back. So that's very good. And we'll go for a couple of slashes on this fella. And because we have extremely heavy weapons here, we can kind of stagger the enemies whenever we need to. And we'll go for a backstab just to get our ichor stock up higher. And as you see, we have no real worries at all about, you know, do we have enough ichor to continue doing what we need to do. And we, as we go, the only reason you need backstabs is to make sure that you have the correct ichor stocks available, okay, to maintain all of your ichor at the same time. Okay, and yes, okay, and we'll go for that big boy in a second. So you can see you can kind of, even though this is the first area in the game, you can kind of chop through these fellas no problem. There we go, we'll hit that fella. Okay, we'll go for this guy. There we go. And we'll go for some slashes here. Not a problem at all. We'll go for blood. Now they're going to shoot. And as we have quick dodging, it helps us to kind of evade the enemy while at the same time being able to put the hurt on quickly and easily. Okay, there we go. And we'll go for lightning, and we'll go for all our damage here, as we have the slimes here, just to go for some extra fighting. Okay, come on, slimes. There we go. And there go the slimes. So we can go for the slimes here and kind of put them down. And as we have quick dodging, because we are, even though we are extremely heavy weapons here, we can still dodge around and kind of do some quick maneuvering here in the field. So it's got a lot of utility, and especially trying to make use of a blood code, namely Cert, where you have really high strength. This helps immensely kind of fill that gap for those who want to do some heavy damage while at the same time getting a whole bunch of I-Core back and having really good survivability in between. Alright, here comes this fella. Now he's gonna try all kinds of stuff here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, and he's dead already, accidentally. Okay, so we took a couple hits there, but you can see the slash. Come on, the slash resistance there, 53, coming into good use there. While we took a couple of hits, but it wasn't anything too bad. And with the extra recovery here on I-Core from Mia, regular Mia, it definitely helps us out. So let's check out our defense now. So 34. So we go down a considerable amount. So it's definitely in your best interest to, obviously evade the enemy at all costs. But as we are constantly trying to dodge in and out, we need to make sure that we have the stamina for that and everything as well. Oops, come on, get up here. There we go. And it would be great to get a plunge on this fella. I didn't get a plunge. Okay, there we go. And I can't see what's going on here, so hopefully the Black Sabre has enough damage to put out on that fella before he gets too aggressive. Okay, and Mia must have killed the other gunner there, which is most excellent and very acceptable. So now versus the Oliver fight, that will be problematic to say the least, because he's weak to Pierce, and we have Slash, and we have no Pierce here in this thing. We can do this, and we can do that, and we can do this, and we can do that Slash. So there really isn't a whole lot of Pierce that we have access to for the Oliver fight. So we have to kind of figure that out as we go. But since we have lightning damage, we can do his weakness, and we can change the blood weapon to fire weapon. A little more water here, and that way we can have both at least his elemental weaknesses, and at the same time do pretty good damage through Slash. It's nothing to write home about. It actually turns into kind of a fight, but at the same time we can dodge in and out very easily since we are quick mobility, and with Tirelessness our stamina comes back very quickly, which is most excellent. And here we can change the step booster to the stamina activator and get our stamina back extremely quickly. Okay, so we'll go for all these things here, and we'll go for blood weapon since these big boys are weak to blood. Okay, and we'll go for some slashes here and get our I-Core back very quickly, very easily, and we'll just kill this fella. Oh, okay, good. And so since we spent 4 I-Core on Shadow Assault, and then we got about 3.5 or so I-Core back on a Slash there, about 3. It only cost us about 1 I-Core to do Shadow Assault, which is great because it's only it's only cost 4 I-Core to do it, and we can get a whole bunch of I-Core back by simply just striking the enemy. Okay, so here comes these boys. Okay, it will slash this guy down. He hurt us pretty good there. There we go. but Shadow Assault makes for a quick work of him. Okay, and we'll go ahead and go for another backstab on this fella, so we can get 2 more I-Core. Come on, come on. Okay, never mind. We'll go for a drain on this thing then. Okay, and that obviously did not turn out at all how I was anticipating or what I wanted to do. But if you're looking for the Black Sabre to actually do something, this is a fantastic way to go ahead and get it accelerated and get it kind of into a viable use space where you would be, you know, in a good way to be able to use it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a pure blood here, and let's go for our gifts. There we go. Okay, and we'll go for fire and lightning, and we'll go for the pure blood, and we'll get fire cartridge. There we go. Okay, and then we will go for this and a drain activator and a stamina activator, and we'll get the fire cartridges on deck. Okay, and now we'll go for the Oliver fight, and we should have plenty of I-Core regeneration here to constantly spam out Shadow Assault. So anytime that's active, we definitely want to go ahead and use that, and all of our other gifts as well, as we have 0 I-Core concerns here for this. Okay, so there's it was about 11,000. Oops. Okay, so as you see there, with what is that? With offensive order running, we definitely take a hit, and we take a hit hard. Okay, okay, and we'll go ahead and heal up here. Okay, and as we have no, we have no gift there to heal Mia. She just kind of stood there and took the hit, and that is the problem here with the Black Sabre, is that your dodge animations are very lackluster, and at the same time they are delayed significantly. So it has to be like a 1 strike and then dodge, and then a 1 strike and then dodge, and then a 1 strike and then dodge. And the Black Sabre, since it is so slow, comparatively to basically all the other one-handed swords, it's not used considerably in a big lot of serious ways, simply because of that slow striking pattern. It makes it for a very problematic kind of way to go for you know, slashing the enemy down. Okay, and we'll go for a backstab on this fella if we can pick it up here. There we go. Very good. And we'll try and get that I-Core pool as high as possible here before Oliver again. So, you know, I know the question in the comments already, like, who dies to Oliver? But you know, that's just the way it goes. And since we have 0 resistance to crush from our Blood Veil, crush is exactly what he does, and that is our extreme weakness. And when we were paired up there with offensive order, our defenses on crush go basically to 0. So we have no defenses against his attacks, which are very devastating to us, specifically since we're paired up with the Suicide Spur. But that's the cost for having very quick mobility here. Okay, and as you see here, our crush defense is at 11, so it's basically non-existent, and that's why we need to, you know, be so quick on the dodges here, which I was not, as you saw. Okay, but if you do enjoy the dodging mechanics of the game, you can definitely make good use of this. Okay, and as you see there, we have really good dodge ability, and Mia also has the depleted weakness of the offensive order as well. Okay, and there is his delayed power slam there. So we'll back up. We'll go for this, and we'll back up, Okay, and there you go. You can see that the fight is a little bit more slow and calculated. We'll go for lightning weapon. There we go. Okay, and there's the Oliver fight, how it should go. But you can see that with the Black Sabre, just because of the slow slashing pattern, it has to be more of a calm, calculated, slow kind of a performance, rather than rush in and do a whole bunch of damage quickly and easily in order to get the drop on your enemy, so to speak. But if you're looking for the Black Sabre on how to kind of get it to a point where you could adventure with it, you know, there's every regular kind of lost fella is weak to slash, so it's a great adventuring kind of a weapon. But as it doesn't boast too many extra bonuses, it doesn't scale off of mind and willpower. It scales off of strength pretty well, but and then Dex is where it scales the second, but it falls off very quickly. Excuse me. And if you're looking for a good way to use the Black Sabre, I would say just use it for an adventuring kind of a set, rather than for any kind of severe bossing or extreme damage listings, for you know, any kind of endeavor. But the Black Sabre is a lot of fun because it is not used very often, but at the same time it has its use cases, but they're very limited, and they're kind of outclassed by everything else. So it's kind of a fairly beginner kind of a weapon, because it is only useful and beneficial off of the fact that it you know, is a strength-based weapon, and it scales only off of strength, and it doesn't do anything for any of the other gifts or buffs or anything like that. Thanks, Louis. And as Cert has an S in strength, and we move it up to an S plus with the strength and willpower up, so we can use the Suicide Spur, and at the same time we can use gift prowess. That's why we need a willpower of B, and also to use blood-sucking blades you need a willpower of B, and to use the Suicide Spur you need a willpower of B. So in order to use these three things, you need a willpower of B in order to check those out, and make sure that you do the damage that you need to for those. But for everything else, just powering up the Black Sabre is a pretty good weapon overall. But it's kind of neat that you can use it even though it's such a heavy weapon. You can still make use of it at the quick mobility here if you enjoy the kind of dash in, dodge out kind of striking attack pattern here. And that's where Shadow Assault kind of comes in handy, is that it gives you some of that quick damage mobility there, while at the same time having a lot of damage buffs, at the same time as having really good I-core recovery. And you know, you can change this up and switch this out, but as you know, this slot is kind of just for whatever you would want to use it for. But it has a fairly short cooldown of 6 seconds and a fairly low I-core cost of 4. And it strikes about a 2.25 times the amount of damage listed here on the card. It does it to the enemy in front of you, so it's kind of an interesting thing. So as we pick up in the parking deck next, we'll have another one-handed sword and another build for you, and as we continue progressing the road to 100. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you then.